Parshas Shlach, as all of the Parshos in Bamidbar, is multifactorial, multitasking. There's so many different inyanim which are combined. Kadosh Baruch Hu's master planning of putting them together in exactly the right order. Most famous one being the one we just recently had with Nazir and Saita, two disparate topics which the Chachamim in their genius were able to understand why they were put together. Here in the middle of Shlach, with all of the Nebuch, sad news because we flunked on our mission of sending the spies, the Meraglim, to Eretz Yisrael. So that's finished. What does Hashem say? Hashem said, Dabra b'nei Yisrael, this is Perek Tezvav. Dabra b'nei Yisrael matal em ki savav el eretz moshvasechem. I always thought of that as remarkable. He finishes telling them they're all going to die in the Midbar. Only your kids are going to get there. And now I'm going to tell you all the halachas about going to Eretz Yisrael. It's a tremendous haftocha that we are indeed going to get Eretz Yisrael. However, I'd like to discuss one particular pasuk which Rav Chaim discusses in great length, and I think it's very, very meaningful. It's also halacha l'maisa. Now it says here, "V'asisem isha l'Hashem," and in pasuk Dalet it says, "V'hikriv hamakriv karbano l'Hashem." So it depends on what type of karban we're talking about, and that's what we're going to discuss, the various karbanos that are to be brought in Eretz Yisrael after the Maisa of the Meraglim. The pasuk is a little bit hard to understand. Hikriv hamakriv karbano l'Hashem. It just said, it should have said Hikriv karbano l'Hashem. So, and we had the same topic there by Noso, by the Nisim, where it says V'hi hamakriv harishon v'karbano karas kesem achas by Lashmei Nodav. So the Mepharshim say Hikriv. Who did he bring? He brought himself. That's what a karban really is. We're bringing ourselves, but we don't believe in human sacrifice. So we bring a karban to take our place. So that's what these words are. But Rav Chaim and his story has a completely different take on it, and I'm going to take the effort to redo the whole shtickle. It's not that long, but it definitely is worthwhile. The Hikriv hamakriv karbanai, the one who's bringing his offering should bring. As I said before in these sessions, the word karban is uniformly and universally translated as sacrifice, which is a mistranslation. The translation for karban means an offering. Here's the story. There was once a young man sitting in Koilo. He was learning Masechta Zvachim. He could not understand a word of it. He learned Nashim, he learned Nezikin, but the concept of Kotshim and the concepts of the Karbanos escaped him. He could not wrap his mind around the halachos of the Karbanos. No matter how much effort he invested, these sugyos were really beyond his ken. One day, a particularly frustrating attempt to grasp the meaning of the Gemara occurred. He sat in the empty base medrash and he started to cry. He started to daven, Hashem, please give me the ability to understand the Gemara. Unknown to him, the base medrash was not empty. All these stories always happen. Somebody's listening in. That's how we get the story. And there was an older Talmid Chacham sitting in a back doing his own learning and was sitting undisturbed. When he heard crying, he approached him. He said, what is your problem? Can I help you? The Avrech admitted that he was crying because he could not understand this particular sugya that he was learning. The scholar invited him to accompany him to his Chassidische Rebbe, a famous leader, and asked for a bracha. The Rebbe, when told of what was happening, was impressed by his desire to learn Torah. He turned to him and said, because you cried because of your inability to understand your learning, you will be saved from shedding tears over lack of parnasa, of finding your children shidduchim, and over health problems. Sounds good to me. That's not written in the story. The Avrech thanked the Rebbe for his bracha, but reminded him he didn't come for a bracha. He came to understand what the sugya was talking about. The Gemara teaches us that there was a word that corresponds to each of the 6 orders. We say it every Motzei Shabbos in Bitan Lacha. And the word for kachim is chachma. The word for kachim is chachma, wisdom. When you say Shmona Esrei, And when you say the bracha of Atachoinen, when you say Chaneim Yitcha Chochma B'in V'Das, you should ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu and concentrate, have kavanah, that Hashem should give you the Chachma to understand these sugyos in Kodshim. The young man thanked the Rebbe and hurried over to Rav Yitzchak Zilberstein to tell him the whole story. And Rav Yitzchak Zilberstein heard this, and he said, "That's nice. Why are you telling this to me?" He says, "I have a problem." You're all going to laugh now. I daven Ashkenaz, which of course I do too. I don't say Chachma B'in Adas. I say Der B'in V'Haskel. There's no Chachma in my bracha. What do? I don't want to change the nusach I daven in. Rav Zilberstein told him that the Rokeach writes that the bracha of Atachoinen has 17 words, which correspond, this is very good to know, to the 17 times that the root Chachma appears in various forms in the Torah. Even though you don't actually say the word Chachma, concentrate on the entire bracha, on each of the words that represents one of the forms of Chachma in the Torah. That sounds pretty good. He wasn't satisfied. He wanted to know if he could change his nusach and follow the Rebbe's instructions exactly. Rav Zilberstein took his kasha to Rav Chaim, who gave him a phenomenal response. Tell the Bacher, the Avrech, not a Bacher, he's Yingaman, he may say this formula when he says the bracha about the Choinen. Chanim Yitcha Deya Bina V'Haskel Chachma Bina V'Das. I've seen that in Sidurim, by the way. I have seen that Lashon. Rav Chaim said that the halachas about changing one's nusach is only if you change it entirely. If you add an alternate nusach, or you say the original formula, that is allowed. And if Rav Chaim said it, you can count on his word on being sure that it's accurate and correct. I thought that was rather interesting to say the least, instructional to say the best, and even better, this is the schar that you get for really wanting to learn. If you really want to learn, Hashem will send you all of the help that you need to learn. And as Rav Obama said many, many times, any schar we get in Olam Hazeh is only to help us to do mitzvahs. The schar is in Olam Haba. The whole world is not worth one amen. All the trillions and quadrillions of dollars in this world don't come up even to one amen. So why do we ask for all the good things in this world, Chachma B'in Adas, and all the other things we daven for? The answer is, as he said so wonderfully, that's when we sit in the base medrash and they give us air conditioning. We want to make it easier for us to learn, and in that schus and in that merit, may our efforts to learn be crowned with success. Good Shabbos. The young man in the back was from Bobby.